The UK government shares people's personal medical information with the police without the consent of Parliament, and New Zealand tells Australia to obey to China. Hello everyone, welcome to today's second video. Let's talk about the recent situation with the lockdown policies, the global crisis that we're going through. Every single country is managing it differently, but it all goes back to China and what they did. We're going to talk about all this and the reaction we've had from the global forces, New Zealand, Australia. But let's talk about Matt Hancock and the UK government and what they've decided to do recently. We've got this thanks to the Big Brother watch, and we're going to talk about this, but basically there is a new regulation that's now been imposed by the government. It's as part of the 2021 amendment of the current act that we have. This actual regulation didn't go through Parliament, wasn't debated, and they didn't get the consent of MPs or the people of this country. Now, what this does is that it allows the police, the British police, to access people's medical information through test and trace, which is quite tricky because, again, we know that we are going through an emergency situation, and sometimes the government says we have to bend the rules, parliamentary and constitutional rules to tackle this. Let's just say I understand that. But this is a whole different issue, and this is a whole different angle. It could get out of control. So the Big Brother watch actually tried to explain the whole situation. So we're going to go through this first. They said that medical privacy is the bedrock of any public health system. Yet this government is trashing it at a time when it has never been more important. Blurring the lines between the NHS and the police will deter people from getting tests or giving contact tracers accurate information. So this is the one thing. So firstly, as they say, there is a problem with creating a bad precedent when it comes to authoritarianism. Because right now you could say, fine, I trust Boris Johnson's government to do these things. It's not Jeremy Corbyn, for example. It's not Nicola Sturgeon in England. But it's not about that. It's about the fact that you're creating a precedent for the state and the government to get bigger and bigger next time something happens. Secondly, the Big Brother watch are absolutely right, because this is counterproductive. People are going to not trust the state, the police, or the NHS. They're not going to give the accurate information, which will defeat the purpose of the whole project. And then they continued by saying that to throw open this data gateway without consulting Parliament or even telling the public on the premise of urgency is yet another example of this government's pattern of abuse of power. It is dangerous for public health, dangerous for democracy, and MPs must challenge it. That's also true. As I said, there's the issue with not telling the public. I'm guessing the reason they didn't tell the public is because if the public would have known, then what they said in the previous tweet would have happened. People wouldn't trust the state or the police. They would just give fake information, and that is also dangerous for different reasons. But now this is going to come out. Again, don't expect the mainstream media to report this because they don't want to alarm anyone on this issue. But at a time when we're going through a lot of problems, globally speaking, from the European Union to China, we want to trust our own government. But clearly at this point we can't. When they're bypassing Parliament every step of the way. And we have the media journalists, we have opposition parties, opposition politicos, activists, commentators. You would think that they will hold the government to account. No, you'll be wrong. People like Alistair Campbell and the rest of the media and politicos are obsessed with gossip. For example, Rishi Sunak decided to start a newsletter for people to sign up so that this is all part of his campaign to raise his profile so that he could become leader. Allegedly. But yeah, he just tweeted from his personal account on Twitter that, sign up to my website. That's it. Alistair Campbell kicked off saying that number 11, obviously the office of the Chancellor, is a government building and a government entity. This is a personal and party political data harvest. The Cabinet Secretary needs to step in. Another step on the road to Hungary. So for some reason, when it comes to privacy and civil liberties and data protection, Alistair Campbell is more concerned about Rishi Sunak's personal Twitter account and a website that he's created that people can voluntarily sign up to a newsletter than what the government and Matt Hancock and his department are actually doing. Are you joking me? This is your priority, Alice Campbell. You have a problem. As I said, we're going through issue, globally speaking, with China, where things are getting completely out of hand. New Zealand and China are very close for some reason. Well, we know for what reason. They keep using the excuse of trade as and their strong relationship, considering the neighbouring country, Australia, have a massive issue with China. New Zealand, instead of taking Australia's side, they keep taking China's side and CCP. Now, the Trade Minister of New Zealand come out to tell Australia to show more respect to China and be a little bit more diplomatic with China. Okay, I mean, this is what New Zealand says. I'm guessing we have to listen to Jacinda's government because they're very competent and they're very, very loyal to democracy and ordinary people's lives. China, according to this article in The Australian, China has moved in recent days to update its free trade agreement with New Zealand, and the Communist Party-controlled media has called on Australia to follow the lead of Jacinda Ardern's government. Of course they said that. Of course they want Australia to back down, because Australia is one of the only countries and governments leading this move against the CCP, globally speaking. And with New Zealand being next door, actually not cooperating with Australia, UK, US and Canada, this is a huge problem. So this is what you think. Again, the media and the activists, you would think they will be focusing on these issues. How globalism and the globalist elites are creating problems for us. How our own government are becoming authoritarian. Again, the media aren't really worried about that. The media are more worried about gossip. For example, they created this article, The Guardian. Yes, The Guardian. They did a hit piece, on Majid Nawaz, the LBC presenter, who is also a liberal, essentially, but he's been very skeptical about the lockdown policies. They did a hit piece on him, saying, "Oh, it's dangerous." Him having an opinion on lockdown and the tier system. Oh, that's dangerous. Really. So we got all these the upcoming information from Majid Nawaz actually himself on Twitter. But this is the same Guardian. It's the same newspaper that allowed this guy, who apparently was the champion of hide and seek for about 10 years, an actual platform to write an article. You think I'm kidding? No. This guy actually wrote an article in The Guardian back in 2004. This is after the events of New York. And so he wrote an article, Resist the New Rome. The Guardian allowed this guy to write an article for them, and they're now attacking Majid Nawaz. The Guardian, the same newspaper that had this guy, Seamus Mills, working for them in the past. He then became a senior advisor to Jeremy Corbyn. Now this guy believes that the Soviet Union was a good thing and Stalin was a good guy. He wasn't that bad. He wrote an article actually defending the whole concept. This is The Guardian, and they're now talking about how Majid Nawaz is a risk. The opposition party, Her Majesty's Loyal Opposition, you would think they'll be more concerned with holding the government to account. No, you'd be wrong. They're too busy stealing people's taxpayers' money. So, we got a new article in the Mail that's exposed a number of Labour shadow cabinet members who, since the lockdown started, have been stealing people's money in the name of expenses and wasting it and misusing it on random stuff. So we have, for example, Angela Rayner, who's the chief deputy leader, who has spent £1,600 on 23 first-class trips since March. Lisa Nandy also spent a lot, but £20 on a hand sanitizer gel. What? Lucy Powell put her TV license fee, £157, and a £35 parking fare on expenses. So you think it's just a couple of random expenses? No. But to put them all together, it's thousands of pounds worth of taxpayers' money. So Angela Rayner, who boasts of standing up for working people, claimed almost £31,000 on taxpayers' money. Again, spent a lot of it on first-class train tickets. Lisa Nandy, who bought that for £20 hand sanitizer gel, also spent over £23,000, including almost £9,000 on non-office rent and almost £500,000 in council tax. Using taxpayers' money. Why can't these people just use their salary? We are already paying their salary using taxpayers' money. That's for your personal use. On top of it, the expenses, which is also taxpayers' money, taxpayers funded, is there for your work-related expenses, and also not for first-class train tickets. Just get economy like a normal person. I don't understand why they have to do this, the Labour politicians. It continues. The Shadow Minister for Women and Equalities, Jill Furness, spent almost £20,000, including £7,000 on non-office rent and almost £800 on council tax. And yeah, she also travelled first class 10 times since the lockdown. Jonathan Ashworth also charged the taxpayer almost £24,000, including almost £3,000 on travel, which £72.20 was spent on taxis. Taxis between his house and Westminster. Just get the tube or walk. Get a bike like Boris Johnson did. I don't understand. Why do you have to get a taxi? I mean, again, you can, but use your salary. Don't use the expenses on that. So this is the problem that we have. Again, you think the media will be on this issue with Matt Hancock. You think the Labour Party will be on it. No one. Activists, no one is doing it. No one's holding the government to account, but it's okay. We're doing it on this channel. We'll try our best to be objective while these people are on. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Click on the notification bell next to it so you get notified when I release a video. We have a daily show at 5:45 p.m. and 8 p.m. Just a reminder, you only literally have a few hours until the end of tonight, Sunday night, to use your special discount code Brexit10 to get your I Believe in Britain merchandise. Check out the link in the description below the video. Use the code Brexit10, get your merchandise as soon as possible until midnight tonight. You have time to do that. Thanks again for watching. And as I mentioned in the previous video, we do have a rescheduled live stream tomorrow, Monday at 8:30 p.m. It was supposed to be last night, but unfortunately we had some issues. It's going to happen with the internet. It's going to happen tomorrow night. So stay tuned, subscribe to the channel. Thanks again for watching. I'm Tousi, and I'll see you guys in the next video.